The following game has been rated E for everyone by the ESRB, and it has no listed restrictions. That means that the content in the game should be appropriate for anyone aged 6 and up. Furthermore, this game is also listed as Early Access. That means that this game is not yet completed, so what you will see in the following video may not be reflective of the final product. You have been warned.
Greetings and salutations. I am Outlier and I bid you welcome to this channel. Joining me today is, of course, my usual co-hosts, Snowball and Wolf. And today we're returning back to Hardspace Shipbreaker. So the premise of Hardspace Shipbreaker is that you take on the role of an orbital salvage engineer, taking apart derelict and abandoned and damaged ships. Well, they don't really go into saying that. This corporation does kind of strike me as a type of people who would actually accept money from less than savory individuals to make hot commodities disappear, as I believe the term is called. And the reason why you're taking apart all of these vessels is so that way your corporate overlords can resell all of the various components and materials to, well, the shipbuilders to make newer and shinier vessels. And it's all for the all-important and omnipresent means of driving profit. Well, not exactly. I mean, they probably would be more than willing to pay you a decent share of the profits for all the salvage that you do, to the tune of, well, quite a bit of credits, as the in-game currency is called. However, in order to get you up into space to do your job for them, the corporate overlords incurred quite a bit of debt, to the tune of, well, currently I believe it's now 1.25 billion credits, and they expect you to work that debt off by doing their job for them. Well, no, not to that kind of extent. I mean, you are getting paid to a certain extent. You do get links tokens, which is a secondary currency used to buy upgrades for your equipment that they lease to you. And you do get free room and board for a small nominal fee. You're getting the point now, aren't you? And all of this is in the name of the almighty profit. I'm referring to making more money than you're expending. Alright, in addition to all of the backstory and all of this, I should mention that this game is still technically flagged as an early access title, and as such, it is in the process of getting, well, updated periodically and regularly. Case in point, for those who haven't seen last episode, they did change a few things around not enough to actually require that I restart the game from the very beginning. However, they did add in a few extra things and change some of the menus around, which I didn't realize at the time, and was taken for a small bit of surprise, I will admit. But one of the new things that they added is a new class of ship, which hopefully I'll be able to access, look at, and, well, I have access to it right now. But hopefully I'll be able to look at it and take it apart for today's episode. But as I was saying about early access, this game is still in active development, so things change, things get added, things get removed. And as such, what you see in this video may not be fully reflective of the final version of this game. Just as a heads up and a warning for that, so that way in 2 to 3 to 10 years from now, when the developers finally do get done this game and it's a first-person shooter while you're involving you crawling through massive hulking tankers, taking out alien life forms that have hitched a ride and killed off everybody, you can't point to this video and say, hey, see, this crazy person who talks to these stuffed animals stated that it's a game where you take apart ships. I mean, things do change, so there's that warning. And with all of that out of the way, all that's left to say is that this game is, of course, made by... Thank you again. And that being said, let us begin.
Hello, Shipbreaker. This is your morning wake-up call.
Okay, that's it. Okay, fine then. Alright, good morning, Shipbreaker. Reminder, minimum payments are due by 10 a.m. Solar Standard Time each day. Failure to pay on time is considered to breach your contract, and we throw your butt out of the airlock without the suit. Thank you for your hard work and cooperation. Alright, so as I didn't point out while I was still looking at the thing, because I figured I could just continue looking at it. That was up there. It's at like 1.24 billion credits right now. And this is the hab. This is our sole living quarters and the place where we live. Hence why it's the living quarters. We have an employee terminal, which allows us to access various mail, and we can look at certifications. The Atlas. That's the new ship in question. So I have access to both the Atlas Scout and the Atlas Nomad. Various different types of ships. They did show up on the later certifications, but since I had already passed that before they got added, they automatically unlocked. And currently I'm at rank 6, so here's where I'm at, where I get access to the Javelins. Apparently the Atlas is unlocked at level 3. And Gecko's unlock at level 14. Sorry, 8. It's a ship hazard level, I guess? I'm confused. Anyway, this is my squeaky toy. I found him in a vessel. Let's look out a window. I'm really hoping that handprint is not on the outside. And in addition to the employee terminal, we have the bed, which I can change the postage around just to have a look at just to change the decor. And I can find new posters in vessels. And this is the kitchen. Right now, as far as I know, it just has the ability to change a couple posters, and that's really about it. And then the equipment room, where I can go to the workstation, and here's where I can upgrade and repair all of the equipment, because equipment does degrade over the course of the game. Well, everything but the demo chargers so far, but that's mainly because I don't have access to the demo chargers, because I need to get rank 11 before they allow me to play with explosives. But as you can see, I can purchase upgrades for various pieces of equipment as long as I have a high enough rank and I have enough links tokens. Which I have neither right now, so no new shiny upgrades for me. At least not yet. And the helmet and suit thankfully no longer degrade. I think they did originally, but now they don't. And speaking of the suit, this is the work suit. This is, since I'm working in outside in the atmosphere in orbit, this is the only thing keeping me alive from the hardness vacuums of space, which dislikes human life so much it will take any and every opportunity to kill people. That's not exactly true. That assumes that the hard vacuum of space has a will and feelings, and which it does not. It's just a thing that exists. And nature hates it because nature abhors a vacuum, and space is mostly vacuum. So if we go to the jobs board, the bay is currently empty because ships do not carry over from play session to play session. Alright, I'm trying to think of something to say, but nothing comes to mind. So, I have a couple different ships to choose from. I have this Mackerel Xenolab, this Mackerel Light Cargo, this Atlas Scout Patrol Craft, this Mackerel Station Hopper, this Mackerel Xenolab, this Javelin Tanker, and this Atlas Nomad Cargo Hauler. So, I'm assuming the Scout Patrol Craft is a semi-military militarized vessel, whereas the Cargo Hauler is, of course, a cargo ship. I mean, they're all hazard level 5 except for the Xenolab, which is level 3. And I can't go back to smaller, easier grade vessels now anymore. So I can't, like, go back to grade 3 and just select an easier Atlas vessel to play around with. And I don't remember which is easier to take apart, the Nomad or the Scout. I mean, they're both hazard level 5, so I don't really see why it matters right now. But the Atlas Scout has a Class 1 reactor, power cell, and 2 quasar thrusters, and it's valued at 4.2 million credits, whereas the cargo vessel has 3 quasar thrusters, 1 reactor and 1 power cell, Class 1 reactor and a power cell. And it's rated for 4.9 million credits. So, since biggest bang means biggest buck, let's go with this one. Claim vessel, yes, and that's just a warning stating that if I claim a new vessel, anything left in the bay, which currently there is nothing, gets forfeited. So, there's that. And here we go. So this is the Thunder Hudson, forgot to mention the name, as everything slowly turns on. So there's basically 4 different places you can put stuff when you salvage. The processor, the furnace, and the barge, also your pockets. So I like calling the processor the blue maw, that's this thing over here. The furnace is the red maw, which is over there, and the barge, which is down here, is the net. And there's a processor and furnace on the other side. And everything goes into a certain spot, so basically the outer hull and certain forms of metal and other materials go to the processor, other materials go to the furnace, and then actual items go to the barge. And if I look at the scanner, it looks like only the airlock is actually pressurized, so I don't have to worry about pressurized environments right now.
Gunner, your gear's getting low. It's going to start fighting you if you don't head on back to the hab and make some repairs.
Okay. Alright, usually I can just simply yank the antenna clean off, so... Oh, there we go. As usually, I like working outside in. So, and then front back. However, I'm told that the Atlas is actually 2 stories large, so... there's that. So first thing we need to do is depressurize the entirety of the vessel, and the only thing that's still pressurized is the airlock.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
At least by the looks of it. Yes, so now everything else should be depressurized. So I shouldn't have to worry about atmosphere anywhere in the vessel. And the HUD is getting all wonky, so I'm assuming I'm close to the reactor. That opens up this door, which apparently allows me access to, I'm assuming, the bottom of the vessel. And by bottom, I mean like the outer hull area. And that's the reactor right there. So right off the bat, I find the reactor. Also have access to some fuel. That's just some nanocarbon. It's a light. Various extra struts and whatnot. Alright, so since I'm wasting O2 because everything's unpressurized, let's just start carving this thing up. And since I'm not really used to this vessel just yet, because again, this is literally the first Atlas class vessel I've ever taken apart, we need to do this carefully. We need to do this slowly. We need to do this without dying. So we don't use the crosscut saw to just chop everything into little bits. We slowly take it apart, hitting all the cut points that I can get access to. And as I cut more and more stuff off, the various chunks of the outer hull start to, well, come apart. Much like here. And so now I don't have to go through the airlock to get out. And since I'm assuming this is completely free, I can just tether this to the blue maw and watch as this entire chunk of... Right. Bigger than I expected. But this entire chunk of hull just gets sent to the processor. And in you go.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
Alright, so looks like that there's also the canopy, or the cockpit, and it looks like that this canopy is actually connected to the outside. So if I hit these cut points, I'm thinking this entire window chunk, which should go to the furnace, can just simply be removed. And away with you.
Deposit accepted.
And there we go. Alright, and then I have direct access to the cockpit, which allows me just to yank this off, pull it through, and send that down the barge.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
As well as this atmospheric regulator.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Alright, and I'm running low on O2, so right after that, we head back to the hab.
Welcome to Vindatron 9000. Thank you for your...
Oxygen levels stabilizing.
Alright, and I think this chunk of hull is actually free as well, so we'll just yank that clean off.
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
And we just keep removing things from the cockpit area.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited. Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Send that down.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Alright, and this looks special.
Salvage
What are you?
secured.
A
Credits
data drive.
deposited.
Interesting. So just throw that in the pockets. You also get a couple posters. Snag these as well. I mean, personally, I think it's the same poster just twice or 3 times. But you can never have too many of these things, so there's always that. And just gonna yank out this light.
Salvage secured.
And I know there's extra lights on the sides, these small little ones, but to truth be told, I don't really much care about those. They're just really small, probably not really worth all that much. I mean, the large lights aren't really worth all that much, so I don't really pay much attention to them. And then I just yank off the door console now that the door's open. Just fly out through the front and send this away.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Alright, and then I just keep chopping off the outer hull. And now that this portion should be free, just yank this clean off. It is nice, big, and massive, so it's going to take a while. Send that to the blue mall. And away it goes. I think I got everything off of it. Right, and that's the front.
Credits awarded.
Nice and easy. Just keep hitting the cut points. So we can get to said cut points. There's a power cell right there. Alright, that cuts off a couple
All right,
chunks
you
of
got
hull.
5 minutes left in this shift, Cutter, before they turn the lights out on you. We wrap.
Just tether that to there. Maybe give it 2. Apparently it's taking the entire thruster with it. I don't know if it's still connected to the thruster or the thruster's just in the way. So let's actually cut the tethers for right now. No, actually the thruster is actually attached to it. Right, they did say I'm going to have to crawl into
Oxygen
the...
reserves are low. Reminder, asphyxiation can lead to missed salvage quotas.
I really want a larger O2 tank. I'm just saying. Alright, well, that's one way to stop.
Welcome to Vindatron 9000.
Oxygen levels stabilizing.
Alright, so this trunk doesn't appear to be attached to the thruster, so let's tether that away. Hopefully it won't drag the thruster away. This one, however, seems to be completely attached to the thruster. I find it interesting that The thruster's just attached to the outer hull and nowhere else on the ship. I mean, usually with the other types of thrusters, it's... I mean, is there actually anything in here? There is. This whole mechanical thing.
Processing valuable object. Credits awarded.
The fuel injector, I don't quite know what these lines are. And then the actual thruster. So, I don't know how to get the thruster off from the hull. Not seeing very many cut points. I mean, this panel pops off.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
Does this panel pop off? It does. Okay, cool. Alright, so there's this access panel. I was going to say, like, I don't quite know how to get in. If I'm supposed to enter the thruster to actually take it apart.
Valuable object processed.
Okay, so here's a cut point I can take apart.
All right, Cutter. Wrap it up. You got about a
What's
minute
this
left.
do? Absolutely nothing. So I'm assuming that there's another cut access panel cut point on the very bottom. There is. Just bounce that past the storm break.
Processing valuable object. Credits awarded.
Cut that off right there. And now the thruster nozzle's freestanding, and so that way it doesn't fall into the red maw, we just tether it that way. And back up, because it's massive.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Alright, and I got 7 seconds left to stare at, oh the dear God I am going to have to deal with. Alright, so we have yet to destroy anything of the vessel. That'll change probably relatively shortly. I managed to salvage just over 500,000 credits worth of vessel, including one antenna, over nearly 6,000 kilograms of nanocarbon, paneling, I should say, the canopy, and various other goodies from the cockpit. And I earned 933 more MP.
Good morning, Shipbreaker. Lynx mandates a maximum of 8 hours of sleep. Any extra sleep time will be docked from the next pay cycle.
Good to know. Oh, so we have a message from, Lou, I believe her name is. Hey there, Rook. Weaver got busy and asked me to review your salvage records today. I saw that you snagged an old data drive in that ship. Look, I know that the networks on Earth don't really give you the full picture about what's happening across the colonies. Don't want y'all getting a read on what's actually going on off Earth. These data drives, though, they're uncensored info, and they'll give you a full view. Hang on. Where was I? They'll give you the full view. Sometimes it's useless junk, someone's recipes, or bad photos flexing in front of the mirror. Other times it's a corporate rail mail or a ship captain's personal log. Anyway, don't tell Weaver this, but I'm sending you some software to extract the usable data off these things. You'll see a new data recovery tab in your HAB terminal. Soaking in solar radiation tends to mangle most of the data. We should be able to pull a couple of intact files off each drive. Hope that gives you a better sense of the bigger world, warts and all. Alright, so that's our tutorial about data drives. And we have various daily fees, including interest on the 1.2, well now currently 1.24 billion credit loan. Bay leasing, salvage transport, toll rentals, happy rentals, all that fun stuff. Totaling around 522,363.8 credits. So per day, I have to rake in at least that much just to pay down the debt. And luckily, I just barely made it with the salvage income from last shift of 583,033.3 credits. So debt did go down slightly, but not all that much. Alright, so we go over to the employee terminal. We have the data recovery that Loop just mentioned. I can't read that, but apparently it's recovering. Pass successful. And so we have Solar Gov Part 2B, Solar Commission 2 of 3. It wasn't until 2283 during the wake of the AI revolution that the Solar Commission found the grit we deserved from them for so long. It is here where we can chalk up a clear win. Advanced AI systems are on the rise, decimating work opportunities for hundreds of millions across the solar system, causing unimaginable human suffering. Of course, large corporations, as always, had nothing more in mind than profit, and were further spurred by their public image as drivers of human advancement. However, finally finding their voice and the right tools to enact and enforce policy, the Star Commission, an enormous pushback against corporate power, outlined new regulations against artificial intelligence, practically outlawing the use in order to safeguard human jobs. Better late than never, am I right? The corporate conglomerates have had simmering resentment ever since this moment of heavy regulation and strict enforcement. Today, looking towards the Jupiter frontier, where once again the Commission's reach and oversight is sparse, and so the cycle repeats. As a species, our greatest flaw seems to be to never learn from history. I really got to read what's there, and that there are some among us who would gladly grind their fellow humans into a pulp for $1. I mean, yeah, that's just true. It appears we are doomed to repeat the mistakes of our past time and time again. Well, not always. Eventually we'll make a mistake so bad we can't repeat it because we'll all be dead. Moving right along. So that's just an interesting piece of lore. And if we go next to the equipment room, check out the workstation. I haven't gotten any new more links points, I should say, so don't have the ability to actually upgrade anything, but I can check to see that the cross-spectrum scanner is now at 72%, 72% of, I guess, capabilities or wear. It has started to break down. I usually don't repair things until after it falls below 50%, so I'm just going to leave it alone for now. And then we just go back to the work shift, because that's really all that there is left to do. And since this is, and I do have access to other vessels now, I think. I didn't really pay much of attention. Although I'm fairly certain, I'm fairly certain this ship wasn't here before, but it's still a mackerel heavy cargo. But selecting any of these new vessels means that the old vessel goes away, and I would like to continue salvaging it, so let's just continue salvaging the vessel. Alright, so here we are with it, largely in pieces. And we're wasting O2, so let's just fly in and we'll get working. Alright, so I once again have absolutely no idea how to take this thing apart. But it looks like there's this thruster here connected to fuel lines. Now, I don't know if the fuel lines, I don't think the fuel lines have any fuel. Can I get back out? I was going to say, am I wedged in there for good now? But thankfully I wasn't. So,
Clock's ticking now, Cutter. Get in there and hit that shutoff switch.
what shutoff switch? Alright, I'm gonna back away slowly. Oh, that's the red maw. Alright, so I thought that the fuel was, well, not there. But apparently it is, so I'm not about to risk life and limb on something that's about to explode. going to see if I can get it from the other side. Nope.
Salvage destroyed. Please revisit your training.
And it exploded. Alright, so... was there a way to get it from this side? Maybe. I mean, there's a cut point right here. Oh wow, everything went boom. So regular goes to the processor, panel nanocarbon, pipe junction. I mean, the quasar thruster is still intact. Don't get me wrong about that. So, the big important thing that I need to salvage, properly salvage, is fine. So I'm just going to keep hitting these cut points. You know, the fuel line wasn't lit up, so I assumed that there was no fuel. Apparently, I was completely wrong. Squeezing through here? Not without pushing the thing away. Okay. Alright, now that that's disconnected, yank this out. And send it to the... oh, too close to the red maw. I light the back of my suit on fire.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Alright, anything else in here that I would want? I mean, maybe the occasional light, but... other than that, not really. What is this? Oh, that's the
Salvage
thruster
secured.
end that I just
Account
snagged.
credit applied.
Alright, and there's actually a cut point here. I mean, that one's just probably freestanding because the gas tank exploded, but there's an injector base plate. More nanocarbon. So I'm assuming everything that thruster-wise that I needed to remove has been removed. So I'm just going to start tossing the rest of this into the processor. Alright, and that is not the grapple. That is the grapple.
Object accepted for processing. Credits
Is this
deposited.
still connected to the... it is still connected to the whole chunk. Okay.
Caution. Tether supplies running low.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
Alright, so I'm guessing...
Your oxygen reserves are low. Note that excess carbon dioxide can cause damage to Link's equipment.
alright, you hook up there before you fall into the red maw.
Valuable component
And it's too late.
incinerated. Don't do that.
Yeah. Alright, so since A, I was upside down and didn't realize it, running low on O2, so I wasn't paying attention, part of the thruster assembly ended up in the wrong spot, because half of it bounced into the wrong area, and the other half hit the storm break. Well, one half hit the blue maw, but knocked the other half into the storm break, and eventually into the red maw. So that didn't work out.
Warning. Fuel levels are low.
I know, but there's some free gas down here, so I did notice that. There's also, well, it's quite a bit of gas down here. So just grab this thing,
Fuel levels restored.
and while I'm down here, this thing. I'll save the remaining gas for when I'm low or when I'm done, whichever happens first. And let's try not to blow up the other thruster this time. Alright, so I know I can't really get into the back section from here, so I wonder if I can...
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
Alright, looking for the access panels. Like they were on the other one that I can remove the thruster part for. Here we are. Alright, so that's one of them. And much like the other thruster, it's close to the maw, so... In fact, I'm fairly certain I'm actually falling into the maw. Stop. You go up here. Get closer. Get closer. Now go in.
Valuable object processed.
Alright, so the goal, amongst other things, is not to fall into the furnace. And I got one tether left. Just pop this off. Send this on its way.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
This part. This part. Alright, where's the... There's the net.
Warning. No tethers remaining.
I know. Just getting out of the way. And that's it.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Never really seen the bay from this angle, and truth be told, I don't want to ever see it again, because too close to the maws. I don't like being that close. So, big question then becomes, how am I actually supposed to... I mean, I should probably get more tethers, let's be honest.
Cutter, there's 5 minutes remaining in this shift. Get in while the getting's good. We wrap. Welcome to Vintage
Just top off on O2 for right now,
Tethers restored.
and pick up more tethers. Alright, so I'm assuming that they designed it in such a way that they expect you to cut through the pipe on one side and make a mad dash through the thing as it's about to explode in order to get to the shutoff valve. But I have absolutely no idea where the shutoff valve is. And I know for a fact that there does appear to be 2 cut points inside the thing. And that's the fuel injector, which I'm assuming is what exploded on the other one. And that's the actual thruster. So those are 2 lights. Alright, so that's a fuel tank. That's a fuel injector. I'm not seeing any way to extract it from this side. I mean, it would be nice if I could just squeeze in through, but there's not enough space. Of course, it would also be nice if I could just use the, Are there any access points on the outside I can snag? What even is this? Sensor panel. Sensor array. Interesting. Just yank this off, and once I find the net, there we are. Send that down. Also, since this panel seems to be now free, send that off this way. Also fire these chunks of scrap into the furnace just to get them out of the way.
Processing valuable objects.
Pop these
Credits
crates
awarded.
down here.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Hmm.
1 minute left, Cutter. Time to start wrapping things up. We wrap.
Alright, so I'm not about to risk life and limb just to, on a mad dash to get, well, if I tether this to here, oh, that just takes that panel. Okay, cool. Alright, so I'm not about to risk life and limb on a mad dash to, crawl through a burning chunk of thruster. Just send that down that way.
Salvage secured. Credits.
No, we salvage smarter, not harder. And I lose 159 kilograms of fuel tank, 159 kilograms of regulator, 1 fuel injector, 1 light, 2,000 some odd kilograms of nanocarbon because half of the thruster assembly fell into the furnace, and that much extra nanocarbon, and I destroyed basically just shy of 6% of the vessel. I lose another chunk of thruster, and I'm not making it to the 3rd level of salvage. But I am closer to 1 than the destroyed chunks are to 3, but I need to be more careful now. Just saying. So, just end the shift.
New certification level achieved. License upgraded.
And congratulations, Shipwreck. Your hard work has not gone unnoticed. You have achieved the prestigious rank of 7, so I am now an apprentice. Not quite certain if that does anything new, but I gain a level. So there's that. Yay me. Moving on.
Good morning, Cutter 9346-52. Today's weather report, clear and sunny, with a high of minus 270 degrees.
How can there be weather in space? I mean, there is solar weather. I mean, solar winds blow all the time. Yeah, so fees total for today of 524,346.03 credits, and I managed to salvage 762,983.7 credits worth. So debt went down. Alright, nothing new, so let's just head off to the equipment room where I look at the workstation, check all the equipment statuses. Everything's largely good. I don't have enough Lynx tokens to get anything new anyway, so off we go to salvage. And let's continue.
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
And I reckon a large chunk of nanocarbon, because that didn't go in by end of shift yesterday. Alright, so for right now, I'm actually tempted to leave the rest of the thruster alone. Of course, I'm also tempted to just tether the entire assembly to the blue maw and cut out the back portion as it's flying away. So do that so that way it doesn't hit the storm break.
Thruster fuel
you.
system breached. Interior unstable.
Cut through you. Cut through you. Cut through you. Yank this out. And tether that more to the blue maw.
Salvage deposit accepted.
Alright, so the
Credit
salvage thruster got salvaged correctly. And that's more or less on fire. And that explodes. Right, so I lost quite a bit on the fuel injector.
Valuable object processed.
And I'm
Credits
practically at the part for, well, the third section. Well, to lose the third. Rating. So we'll just shove all of that in there.
processing valuable object. Credits awarded.
Alright, so I'm thinking for the first time ever, I'm not actually going to get to the third rank of salvage, because I'm fairly certain I'm at the marker for destroyed pieces, so I lose anything else and it'll go over the line. But you know what? I am not risking life and limb just to crawl through an exploding thruster to turn off the
Salvage
fuel.
secured. Account credit applied.
If Lynx Corp wants me to salvage it properly, then they need to have an access point on the front side for me to turn off. And I know gameplay-wise it's supposed to establish a threat that I have to work towards getting, and as you saw, the fuel injector is quite expensive. Like 160,000 credits, I think it was. And I know my character can respawn, but for a nominal fee. But you know, I'm currently working on Haven't Died Yet, one of those Haven't Died Yet runs, and I don't feel like dying just to salvage 160,000 credits worth of fuel injector. Alright, so can I yank off whatever I just hit the cut points of? Seriously, what were they connected to? No, because there's still more cut points. Okay. Although on the plus side, I did manage to salvage both halves of the nanocarbon, so there's that. Still lost the fuel injector, though.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
This thing goes to the barge.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
As this is door control. As the
Salvage
grapple
deposit
starts
accepted.
breaking down.
Credits transferred.
Alright, so I got one tether left, and let's just use it on the reactor because that's a big boom.
Tethers depleted.
Away it goes.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Watch there be like some sort of main gas fuel control on the inside of the vessel that I haven't gotten to yet.
Oxygen reserves are low.
Just toss that in there and head back towards the hab to get more O2, and the fact I am now actually out of tethers again.
Welcome to Metatron 9000. Thank you.
Oxygen levels stabilizing.
Alright, so what were all those cut points for? I'm guessing for the third thruster, which is down here. Which means I'm probably not going to get that third to the third tier of salvage because I have a third one of these to deal with, and I am not, as I said, I'm not risking life and limb just to get to a fuel cutoff switch, chasing down all that. I mean, I'm tempted, rather than, I'm tempted just to, again, try to just toss the whole thing into the processor before it explodes, but I don't think that's going to happen because it's big and massive, and as you saw, it exploded beforehand, especially if, in order to actually get to the fuel cutoff piece, I have to cut all 4 fuel tanks just to remove the quasar thruster. Just to get in.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a fuel line here, so I can't actually get into... No, I can't get past here to crawl in through there. So this actual thruster is actually in the way. And just by cutting this cut point, or even the fuel line itself, I can't actually get in there until this is gone. So I'm going to have to cut off all 4 cut points, remove this, and then climb in while it's all on fire. Find something, I have no idea what I'm looking for, and turn it off before everything explodes. I am not about to do that. If I had demo charges, or if I could cut through the nanocarbon, I'd cut through the nanocarbon. And if I had demo charges, I'd use those to blow a hole in the side and get in through that way. But I have neither of those. You know what, I'm running low on fuel, and this is still actually attached to the thruster, so I'm just going to get close. Can I grab this? I guess not. Yeah, it's broken, so oh well. Away with you.
Raw material processed. Credits deposited. Valuable object processed. Credits awarded. Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
All right, Cutter, you got 5 minutes left of this shift before they turn the lights out on you. Pitter patter. Weaver out.
How do I want to do this? I mean, ideally, if I could, I'd cut to the side, but, you know, the laser drill the laser cutter does not cut through nanocarbon. The only thing that, as near as I can tell, can are the demo charges, and I don't have access to those for another 4 levels. And I'm not about to climb through a burning thruster to access a cutoff switch that, as I said, I have no idea where it is.
Warning. Oxygen reserves are low.
Welcome to Venetron 9000.
Oxygen levels stabilizing.
I'll regas some fuel as well because it was running low. And the other spare fuel that I had found had broken. Alright, so since I have absolutely no idea what I want to do with the thruster, I'm just going to take apart the rest of the vessel first.
Salvage secured.
So it looks like back in here, there's a whole bunch of... I mean, it doesn't really look like there's actually much to the vessel. It's just the airlock, access point to the reactor, and the cockpit. I mean, there's a bed right here. And that's really about it. And a food dispenser. Interesting. So it's just basically cargo. It's just basically airlock, living area, cockpit, engine room, or thruster assembly, and a reactor room, I should say, and then cargo room. So can I lift this up now? I can, sort of. These cut points to remove the door from the actual frame.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred. Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Just send this all the way down through the blue mall.
Cutter, we're getting down to the wire. Let's put a bow on this shift.
Yes, Weaver.
Valuable object processed.
Now, this goes to the processor anyway. This railgun goes to the processor anyway, so I'm inclined just to leave it attached to the hull. A whole lot of soft crates, though. So just keep it in cut points. Alright, so again I lose the other fuel tank, another fuel injector, 2 more lights, 6 kilograms of base plate, totaling 9.9 amount chunks of the vessel destroyed, so I lost almost 500,000 credits worth. But I salvaged all this stuff, including the thruster, and netted 1.2 million credits, so there's that. And gained 1,974 more MP. So I'm moving closer to my next rank.
Hello Shipbreaker 9346-52. Lynx would like to share the following inspirational message. Make the most of your shift by fanning the tiny sparks of effort into flames of profitability.
Alright, and fees total again 524,208.08 credits, but I made over 1.2 million, so I made enough for 2 days worth of debt, as it were. And again, as far as I know, no new messages, so if I go to the equipment, everything's still above 60%, so I'll just keep going, well, continuing. So let's just continue.
Morning, folks. How y'all holding up? I had a question. What? I can't hear you, Kato.
Kai, try switching to another frequency and then back again.
How about now? Can you hear me now? I hear you. Hey, okay. I have a question. What's this administrator gonna do?
They're bean counters. Waste our time with productivity reports. They've come here before? Sure, loads of times. Profits drop, they send someone. Accidents go up, they send someone. Sometimes they just send someone to find out if they need to send someone.
They ain't a big deal, Kai.
You heard right, Paulson. I guess they're just snooping around for union stuff, right? Yeah, gonna be here a week tops. These types have the attention span of a gopher. They'll move on pretty quick.
What's a gopher?
What? Boy, you better come visit sometime on Mars when you're done here.
One day we'll all go see them gophers and whatnot. Keep that front of mind and don't fret none. Carry on now. Weaver out.
Alright, so I'm assuming that has something to do with the main storyline. Let's pass with the main storyline right now.
Salvage deposit accepted.
I find it interesting that they have gophers on Mars, but I'm assuming, much like most animal life on Earth, that they're extinct. I know I mentioned when talking about the pink bunny plushie, they tried several other animals, but they didn't register with the target markets because all the animals that they were based off of were dead, so no one really cared. So I'm just going to hit these cut points just to get the bottom cut off. Push this down like the crazed maniac that I am as it hits the thruster. Pull this off. Try to have it not hit the storm brake. And then send it down the blue wall. Because these atlases seem to have quite a bit of very large chunks of nanocarbon. And you know what?
Processing valuable objects.
I don't want to deal with this thruster, so I'm not certain if the nanocarbon is going to be more expensive than the fuel injector. I mean, probably is. Nanocarbon is usually some of the most expensive stuff. So I'm just going to tether this whole damn thing to the barge and let corporate deal with it. Because right now it's in the way, and I am not digging through an exploding thruster just to catch one thing.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited. Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Huh. Interesting. So, that whole thing flagged both the injector, the fuel tank, the lights, and the processor, but didn't flag the nanocarbon as destroyed. I'm guessing the developers are going to fix that next. But for now, everybody else into the net.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Because now, I've exceeded the salvage goal level 2. And for that, I'll take it.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited. Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred. Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
And then we just cut off the mounts back here. I don't even know what these this mount is mounting. But I guess I'll find out shortly, and since I'm running low on O2, I'm just going to pick this one up. Toss the rest of these crates down into the net.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Just trying to push this away. Or I can just simply go around outside and see what the mounting bracket had connected. And it's a massive cargo container. Interesting. Right, so that nanocarbon goes to the barge. Cut here. Cut here. As the thrusters dip below 75% and start shorting out. Cut here. I hit this one, right? Yeah, it's fine. I took that down there. Slide this whole cargo container clean off. It doesn't look like there's any way into this cargo container, so...
Salvage secured.
This
Account
cut
credit
point.
applied.
This cut point. And tether this down. So it should be free. No, it is not. Hang on. Missed 2 cut points. My apologies. Stand still so I can shoot you. Guess I thought I missed 2. Might have only been 1. Yeah, looks like it's only 1. Okay. So then tether this to the net.
Caution.
As I
Tether
back
supplies
out
are
of
low.
the way. And since I'm worried about this chunk hitting the storm break, if I just send it to the processor, I'll leave it alone for right now. In the meantime, hit up the remaining cut points.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Rip off this door control, send that down.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Grab this hard crate. Get whacked in the head by this hard crate. Send this hard crate down.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Grab this thing of fuel just simply because, I'm about to make this wrong laser, but it works. So, at this cut point, at this cut point, at this cut point, tether this chunk this way. I guess I really do need to cut points off to get these rail guides off, because I originally thought that this whole thing was just nanocarbon, but no, it's nanocarbon paneling strapped to a frame. Alright, so let's get right side up and pull yank you out. And fire you off this way.
Valuable objects processed.
Got about
Okay,
5 minutes left in this shift, Cutter. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Weaver out.
Send you down that way. Tether you to here. Tether you to there.
Your oxygen reserves are dropping below statistically profitable levels.
Tether you to there. Hopefully that all goes in. Go back for more O2.
Valuable objects processed. Credits deposited.
Oxygen levels stabilized.
Salvage lost.
Alright, so something ended up in the wrong spot, and the damage tier actually exceeded level 3 the level 3 salvage level, so I'm not getting that for the first time ever. Didn't know if I had crossed it yet or not, but apparently I did. I'm guessing it finally registered that all that nanocarbon's not going into the processor. And you know what? I'm fine with that.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred. Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Send that away.
Processing valuable object. Credits awarded.
Ladder goes down here. Here, a piece of the structure still attached to
Account
the
credit
ship.
applied.
here. And I just realized there's still a door control attached to that, but you know what? I've exceeded the level 2 salvage, and I've broken level 3, so you know, it doesn't really matter. You know, yellow line hits red line, and then I'm done. Meantime, just snag you.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
You down.
Time is winding down, Cutter. Dig deep and let's finish strong.
Alright, especially considering I'm fairly certain there's not enough of this vessel left to salvage to make an extra shift profitable, but I am not getting this storage bin out, so... wedge it clean through a doorway. I don't care which doorway it goes out, just get it out. And send it down that way. And it hits just in time for the shift to end. Alright, so I lost 1 repair kit and 473 Lynx tokens. I officially hate this vessel. Although, to be fair, this is the first time I've ever actually salvaged it, so the fact that I've only destroyed 11.6% of it, I made 1.23 million credits, so there's that. Alright, and I don't like leaving parts of ships behind, so even though I don't have enough...
Shipbreaker 9346-52. Lynx would like to share the following inspirational message. Some people dream of great salvage, while other people get up every morning and make it happen.
It actually is kind of inspirational. Alright, so I made 1.2 million salvage income from last shift, and have a fee total of 524 point some odd payment. Alright, so I'm not getting tier 3 of salvage, so I'm not making the maximum amount of acceptable profit. So corporate's probably going to be peeved at that, but to be fair, again, this is the first time I've ever salvaged this vessel, and I'm not about to go digging through a burning thruster just to cut out the fuel injector. You know, they want me to get it out. They should have had a door on the front, and if that isn't possible, then you know what? I like my plan for the third thruster. Just toss it all down the bin, because the barge. Can't talk anymore. Because even though nanocarbon is rather expensive, and you make quite a bit of money from it, something tells me the fuel injectors and the thrusters and the fuel tank all combined exceed the amount for the nanocarbon. If anything, like the macro's cockpit, which I always throw down the processor, even though a large chunk of it is aluminum and needs to go to the furnace. The nanocarbon on a macro's cockpit is more expensive, so that's where it ends up, and I may just do that here, if I ever salvage this class of vessel ever again. Let's just remove these cabinet storages, cut off this chunk. Send it thusly.
Processing valuable objects.
Alright, and now I should be able to just grab everything easily and send it out of the barge, especially now that it's clean and everything's gone.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Alright, and that hit the faceplate, so... Not with enough force to crack the suit, thankfully, but it still happened. So let's get the so-called kitchen cabinet out. say so-called because that little cramped area is smaller than my hab.
Credits deposited.
And I don't really consider it a kitchen, so toss that there. Yank the mattress out. So where's the furs? Send that to the Red Maw. Right, gotta yank the bed up first. Send that away.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
The storage bin goes there. The storage bin goes there.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
This goes here. Alright, and I'm thinking that's everything. I mean, there's a whole pile of doors and some lights and some more lights and more doors, which I can't actually cut out of the vessel. Just not easily, especially not with all the door controls ripped off and sent to various locations. So I'm thinking all that's left is the frame.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
So we tether that to a Red Maw. And send this chunk to the blue.
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited. Valuable component incinerated. Penalty has been applied.
Part of nanocarbon was still there. I mean, yeah, the doors I expected to lose. Alright, that's interesting. I'm fairly certain this is all gone. I mean, what else is left? Nothing, near as I can tell. But red line does not meet yellow line. And I'm guessing if it didn't actually count the nanocarbon that I threw in the barge. It's weird. That's a glitch. Anyway. But yellow line does not meet red line, and so the system thinks that there's still large chunks of the vessel left. But as far as I'm concerned, the Thunder Hudson is now gone. Especially considering, you know, there's nothing left of it. And since there is nothing left of it, let's just call the rest of the shift over, because I don't feel like paying for O2 if I don't need it. And that's the wrong button.
Reserves are low.
Right button. Let's just end the day. Alright, so I made 260,717.7 credits, and it says there's 3.9% of the vessel left. I don't quite know where. But I didn't see anything, and I'm not about to spend an entire shift looking for something I'm fairly certain is not there. So let's just end the shift, and I gain 417 more MP.
Hello Shipbreaker. Overnight genetic backup complete. Pattern deviation nominal. Have a good day.
Right, and since there wasn't much left of the vessel, I did not make today's salvage total, but I made about half of it, and I know for the past 2 shifts I made over 2.5 of the salvage totals, so all in all, over the course of 4 shifts, I'm fairly certain I made a profit. Not much of a profit, truth be told, but when you have a 1.2 billion credit debt, a couple million here and there isn't all that much. But if we look at the employee terminal, I have no new messages there. And no new messages there. And I'm at level 7 certification, which gets me the thruster top speed upgrade, scanner range upgrade, and split saw upgrade. But nothing really special other than to mention that there's some corporate muckety muck now in the vicinity. And if I go to the workstation, I see that equipment is largely broken, but still, well, around. And I actually now have enough links tokens to actually upgrade the thruster speed. So you know what? I'm going to do that, just simply because I was moving rather slowly. So there's that. So yeah. As I was saying, there's now a corporate muckety muck roaming around the area. So, I guess I get to see what's going to happen there. But all of that and a new ship and seeing if the Atlas Scout is going to be any more interesting or difficult than the Atlas Cargo will all have to be saved until next time, because I'm going to call it here. Everybody stay safe from the plague, and have a good day.